Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, this series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. On today we have James Woodward, who made top 8 at the Carlisle Regional with this Sky Striker list. Now I do just want to note, this was definitely a well-defined event. The majority of Top Cup was Spiral, and throughout the event James did go up against a ton of meta-relevant decks for the early stages of the format, so by no regards is this like a fluke. This is genuine skill and time and effort that has gone into making this new format Sky Striker list take home a top spot. So let's dive right into the list itself. So we have 9 hand traps, being 3 Ash, 3 Droll and 3 Ghost Ogre. 2 Diabolos. This has become a really sort of staple for the Sky Striker deck. Given that it's so easy to put out Array and then just tribute it off for this net advantage here. It's very hard for a lot of decks in the current format to actually out a Darkest Diabolos because it's just so big. And alternatively, you can still just get rid of some of their hand advantage and win out from that point of view. 3 Array and also 3 Rose, so just released in the latest booster set. In case you don't know what this does, I've just run you through the effects. So if a Sky Striker Ace monster or monsters is normal or special summoned, except for itself, then except during the damage step you can special summon this card from your hand. If an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, then you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. There's a really nice interaction that I'll get onto in just a little bit, and you can only use each of these effects of Sky Striker Ace Rose once per turn. So while it was generally disregarded as not like an incredible card, you compare this to Ray, it's nowhere near as powerful, but Rose is still quite nice, and it allows you some very interesting interactions too. So there's 1 Zodiac Whiptail in here alongside 3 Barrage, 1 Double or Nothing for the Utopia double OTKs, Reinforcement of the Army, Pot of Avarice. You do actually burn through quite a lot of monsters with all of your hand traps and the fact that all of your link monsters become other link monsters, so definitely want to have this in your deck. 3 Area Zero, 2 Afterburners, 3 Jamming Waves, Hornet Drones, Double Shot Cannon, Widow Anchor, Multi-Roar, triple the Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is not a once per turn hard effect, and you just get yourself to your Darkest Diaboloses. And then finally 1 Terraforming for the end of the spell lineup. So 23 spells for this deck. Then if we take a look at the extra deck, 3 Hayate, 3 Kagari, 1 Kaina, and 3 Shizuku. I think this is likely to be a very similar thing to what we'll see for the future of Sky Striker. Then we have 1 Phoenix, 1 Borbo, 1 Dweller, 1 Utopia, and 1 Utopia double. For the side deck, Triple Sphere Mode. Quite interesting that you don't need the normal summon because your spell lineup is so good, and you can just special summon the Ray anyway. Then we have Dark Hole, Lightning Storm, and Raigeki as well as the board wipes. I imagine he would have wanted to play 3 Lightning Storm, but we'll get onto the commentary in a bit. Triple Mystic Mine, Triple Twisters, and Triple Evenly. So plenty of back row hate and plenty of monster hate as well, really covering his bases here. Given that the hand traps are all in the main deck and you have so many already, you don't need to side into additional hand traps. You just have to side for when people are going to assemble boards that you can't actually break through because they're just too powerful. So that is it for the lineup. Just a quick note on the effect of Rose. So it does say that if an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect, then you get to special summon it from the graveyard. Now your Borbo, when it has a Whiptail underneath it, will be able to actually banish an opponent's monster after damage calculation, which will cause it to leave the field, which gives you your Rose. So that's just a pretty interesting interaction there, along with the fact that you have so much actual other removal in the deck to trigger this Rose and get your plays going. So let's move on to the additional commentary then, and we'll start off with the siding strategy. So for Spiral, we see the Mystic Mines come in when going first, and then when going second, the Mystic Mines, Sphere Mode, and the Evenlies all come in. You lose the Diaboloses and the Melodies, of course, which go with them, and then you lose the Roses too on top of that, which seems fair enough. For Altergeist, the Twins and the Evenlies come in, obviously. Side outs are obviously up to you at that stage, and then for going second, The Twins and Evenlys come in again, and as does the Lightning Storm here. And then Draw is just not very impactful in this format, so in this matchup, so you take that out. Ogre and Ash, again, they don't do an awful lot, so those are being taken out here as well. Against Lunalight, we have a going second side strategy only, and that is the Mines, Ras, Evenlys, and the Twins all coming in. The Twins specifically for when they play the rank up build, which locks you out of the game entirely. You just have to be able to out that, which you can do in the standby phase anyway. And you do have to, side out quite a lot of stuff for that. So if you're putting in the Twins, you take out the Jamming Waves, but regardless, you lose the Diabluses, the Melodies, and the Roses there. For the sort of back row rogue decks, you'll put in the Twins and Evenlys and take out the hand traps or removal cards that don't apply in that matchup. And for combo decks, you'll be putting in the Mines, the Ras, and the board wipes regardless, and just switching your hand traps and other removal around as well. So for the rounds that you played, it was a 7-round event. He went X1-1, I believe. Yep, so 1 loss to Lunalight in round 3 and 1 draw with Spiral, but otherwise winning out against Spiral, Subterra, Mech Knight Invoked, Salamangreat, and Cyberdragon Orcast. So quick comments from these rounds. So round 1, game 3, he broke through the Appaloosa Trigate Sleeper board. His hand had Mystic Mine, Terraforming, Anchor, Ray, and Rose. So figure it out, guys. If you don't already know how to do it, then figure out how that hand can lead to you breaking that board. Round 2, nothing really spectacular, just outgrinded the opponent. Round 3, misplayed quite a bit, realised that he could have won game 2 after he Sunslip, but it doesn't really change anything much after you've already got to that point when you've accepted your defeat. Round 4, the Mech Knight invoked a pretty simple match. The opponent blind seconds and OTKs, and so does this deck as well. So the opponent's starting board just really wasn't good enough. So he just got hit with a double or nothing to the face, and that seals the match. Round 5, 2 games, takes them basically into time, so they side up and start game 3 with 10 seconds or so left on the clock, which means James can just make Kaina, and the opponent doesn't have an imperm, so that's a win. Round 6 against Spiral, 2 very slow and grindy games, nothing really spectacular there. And then round 7 again, nothing super special. James set up for a double 2 game, Utopia double 2 games in a row after the opponent misplayed multiple times. So if your opponent's going to misplay, you may as well take a free win from them. So for the additional questions, he said the event was fine. It was well run but pretty warm. He decided to play this deck because he didn't want to play Altergeist, and it was suggested to him because he, played Skystrike for the last 2 years basically, so why not give it another go? For the hardest and easiest matchups, he says that Lunalight rank up if you don't draw hand traps, or Spiral if you don't draw hand traps, they're both the hardest. But if you can get the decks into either a grindy state or in a position where you can Utopia double them, then you're normally fine anyway, and it becomes a lot easier. Compared to other decks, he says that the Zodiac Barrage feature made the list very different. He has seen that there are some other people playing MST to pop the field spell, as you need to get to Ray in order to win the game, but if you blind second you can still do this anyway, and you can have extra potential to make the Utopia double, basically out of nowhere by playing the Barrage there. This meant that there were quite a lot of sort of 2-turn games with Utopia double, and then when the opponent played around the Utopia, then it would just sort of draw into time and you'd grind back and forth, hence a lot of the time you would have wins during time or draws. As for changes, he's considering actually maining the Mystic Mines, and the most influential sets, obviously. Ignition Assault gave us the Rose, which allows for a bunch of extra deck stuff actually to happen, but yeah, I mean, it's basically Dasa still. And then shoutouts go to Jara for making the deck and showing him how to play the new stuff, Connor, Luke, and Stephen for coming to the event with him, and shoutouts to Ninja Cake Cards on Card Market for getting him all the cards that he needs. Then for some extra explanations for the interesting choices. So the deck does blind second, and it wants to basically pick apart a board, get into a grind game, or end with Utopia double pretty quickly. The Darkest Diabolos allows for grinding away hand resources, because the simpler that you can make the game for the opponent, the easier it is, and also just being able to put 3,000 damage from nowhere is really, really good. Rose allows you to make the Utopia double or negate some problem monsters like Sleeper anyway. The Zodiac Whiptail is chosen because it has an interaction with Rose in the grave. You go into your Borbo, as I said before, you have the choice to attack directly, or you can attack into the extra monster and then use Whiptail to banish it, trigger the Rose, and let you go into your Sky Striker links. Barrage Destroying the Field spell as well allows you to make Utopia double on your opponent for game, and Dweller is in for basically if you go first against any combo deck, it does come up as a potential play for you to actually make. So a very nice looking list. Congratulations to James for taking home a top spot with this new format Sky Striker. What do you guys think about Sky Striker? Is this a deck for the new format? Is this something you'll be planning on picking up and giving a shot? Definitely give it a go with the Zodiac Barrage engine, see what you guys think about the Diablos 2, and I'll see you guys in the next video.